this later. This is the time when we take a break from the classroom. Everybody grab some water, get something to drink. I'm going to go ahead and get my apron put on so that, oops. I'm going to go ahead and get my apron put on so that we can go ahead and cook something. Yep, and Debbie and Trish and other people, they have moved on from being upset about the loss of an hour because the sun is out. The sun is out longer. Okay, so, oh, Kathy is finally getting caught up on her sleep. Okay, so I am going to pull my hair back just a little bit because other people besides me will be eating this, and I do not want, you know, my very long hair in it. Oh, and Sherry is doing fine with daylight savings time now, and so is Mary. Okay, so let's get my hair out of the way just a little bit and go ahead and get cracking. First thing, I know everybody's gonna say, what's in that? What's in your mason jar today? Because it's a funky color. So for those of you that I promised, oh, and that is Lisa. Hello, Lisa. So for those of you, or I know some of you all were gonna ask, you know, what this is. So I promised that I would tell you in the second half. And Lisa says, I came in a little late, but are you drinking your water? Yes, Lisa. Look. And Barbara is loving the sun being out longer. So this, before we start making what we're actually making in the second half, this is Sonic ice. So again, if you do not live in an area that has rabbit poop ice like Sonic, and if you don't understand what I'm saying, it's rabbit poop ice. It's not really made out of rabbit poop, but it's about that size. And yes, Barbara, it is time for water. But it's about that size. It is the best crushed ice. So this is just Sonic crushed ice. And then I added a bottle of vitamin water, 0 sugar, squeezed lemonade flavor. Anything lemonade flavored works perfectly with this, I've been craving this all day, so when I got this at the store today, I wanted to go ahead and make some. And then it has 4 to 5 pumps to your taste of Jordan Skinny Syrups, the mermaid. So Alyssa loves this one. She says she calls it her blue juice. That, the lemonade, with the lemonade flavored anything with the mermaid juice. Oh my gosh. I'm serious, I was craving it. Okay, so you can get the mermaid juice here at Casey Kitchen Center if you live in or around Knoxville, or you can order it at CaseyKitchenCenter.com, or if you go to Jordan Skinny Syrup, you just search Jordan Skinny Syrups and go to their website. You can use our 10% off discount code and order it and have it come straight to your house. And that discount code is EggLady10. It's EGGLADY. So it's just EggLady10. Okay, so what we were making in the second half is vegan loaded mashed potatoes. So for those of you who are not vegan, calm down. Just calm down. You can make these regular mashed potatoes too, and I will tell you how to make them regular mashed potatoes as we go along. But we're going to make these vegan style because several weeks ago, it was in November, so however many weeks ago, actually that's a lot of weeks ago. Anyway, in November, I showed you all how to make my world's easiest mashed potatoes, and we made those using Trader Joe's frozen mashed potatoes, and they're just little already frozen mashed potatoes, like made into little circles. So that's super easy. But my niece, one of my nieces, is vegan. My mom was vegan. I'm not vegan, but I do eat vegetarian or plant-based meals, you know, quite often, just because, you know, I like them. My mom taught me to eat them that way, and my tummy feels better when I do that. So Loretta makes mashed cauliflower, ooh, and puts Laughing Cow cheese in it. Ooh, that sounds very good, very good. You know, this is made with real potatoes. So I have to make it this way so that the meat eaters in my family and the non-vegans and the people who think that they're going to die if they eat rice cauliflower or mashed cauliflower, you know, so that they won't think that they are going to die. So the first thing we're going to do, you're going to doctor it up a little bit. So this is not just going to be mashed potatoes. It is made out of potatoes, but we're going to spice it up just a little bit so that everybody thinks it's fancy. And you know, when it's fancier, people think it's better. Okay, they think it's good and they think that it has meat in it. So the first thing we're going to do is get our Simple Living products or whatever brand air fryer you have. We're going to get the basket out. This is Morningstar Farms veggie bacon. So these are called veggie bacon strips. Now, I do not want you to be fooled. This is not bacon. So, okay, and it's not even going to look like bacon. So when I show you this, you're going to go, wow. If you're not vegetarian or vegan and you've never had this before, you're going to go, Kelly, you've lost your mind. That's not even bacon. Okay, but I'm going to show you how to fancy it up a little bit. So we're just going to go ahead and open this up. There are a couple of other brands. The Light Life veggie bacon is really good. Perhaps I should have busted into this before we started the live chat. Come on, let me get in this. Okay. So they have cleverly done this. Ooh. Ooh, Orlando Debbie made her Lazy Man's lasagna with spinach ravioli. Oh, she made it her meatless meal this week. That sounds yummy. Okay, so that's supposed to be bacon. Okay, we all know that that's not bacon, but you know what? If you're vegan, if you're vegetarian, or if you want to make this recipe, or if you just want to try something meatless without going crazy, this is a great one to start on. So, it is soft. It is colored to look like bacon so that, you know, if you have any meat eaters in your life, they won't pass out because they will think that it is bacon. And what we're going to do is lightly spray this. We're going to lightly spray this with a little bit of vegetable oil, olive oil, vegetable oil. Okay, we're going to lightly spray it with that, and we're going to make it into the candied bacon like I make with real bacon. So I'm just going to add one, and I know you can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm going to add just a little drizzle. If this was real bacon, I would let this soak, but since it's not real bacon, you just do the best you can do. So I'm going to add a drizzle of sugar-free maple flavored syrup. Then I'm going to add just a teeny tiny bit. So this is going to end up being about 1/4 of a teaspoon maybe per strip of Truvia baking blend. You can use any low-cal sweetener. The Truvia baking blend doesn't leave a funky taste though. And then I'm going to add Dax spices. This is a salt-free spice. I'm going to use the Red Mountain Rub, and this is exactly how I make my candied bacon that's with real bacon. This is exactly how I make it. But when it's real bacon, you kind of need to let them sit and soak it up. Okay, then, because this is veggie bacon, you're not going to cook this really high because there's no fat. There's basically, where'd it go? There's basically no fat in here, or almost no fat. So it has 4.5 grams of fat, but it is not saturated fat, is what I'm trying to say. So it's not gonna be like, you know, regular bacon. Okay, so we're gonna cook this on a lower heat. We're gonna put the basket back in, and in your Simple Living Products air fryer, you scoop, don't shove it in. So if you've never heard me say that, scoop, don't shove. And we're gonna set the temperature to about 320, and we're gonna set the time on about 8 or 9 minutes, but we're gonna check it here in just a couple of minutes because this cooks really fast because it's not meat. So it's not like you're trying to cook meat to a certain temperature or anything, you know, it's vegetables. So let me tell you quickly, because somebody's gonna ask what it's made out of. It does contain a little bit, so this does have just a tiny bit. The Morningstar Farms brand does have just a tiny bit of milk in it. So if you use this one, it won't be full-blown vegan, but I'm pretty sure, so if somebody is here that is vegan, is it the, I think it's the other brand that I just mentioned, that the Light Life, is that the one that's absolutely vegan? Somebody who's vegan, help me out here. So this brand has just a little bit of milk in it. So it's not going to be completely vegan, but it's pretty darn close. It is pretty darn close, yeah. And this is a good substitute for bacon. So while that is cooking, we're going to talk a little bit about what I'm making to go with this. So I've already prepped some potatoes. We're going to finish the potatoes here in just a minute. We have plenty of time. Okay, we have plenty of time. So let's talk about what I'm going to be making to go with this. Excuse me while I get my Bradford pears back under control. So what I'm going to be making to go with this, I have in the crock pot behind me, which is on this side, there. So in the crock pot behind me, I'm making my church lady green beans. And the church lady green beans this time, usually I use flat green beans, but I had a bag of Trader Joe's French green beans. They're not French cut, so they're not, it's not that those little thin pieces, but they are, let's see, oh wait, Loretta's Heart Doctor, hold on, let's see. Loretta's husband's heart doctor uses tofu and salads instead of croutons. Oh, that's interesting. I never tried that. And oh, Tag tried oat milk today for the first time, and she says it's a good substitute. I totally agree. We're going to use oat milk in what we're making next. But anyway, so to go with my mashed potatoes, so this is going to be prepped for me to have for lunches this coming week. But I'm making enough for John to have and for Casey to have. That's why I pulled my hair back, because, you know, it's not just me eating it this time. But with this, I'm going to make my church lady green beans, and usually, again, I use the flat green beans, like Allen's green beans that are in a can. But I already had a bag of these in the freezer here at Casey Kitchen Center, so I'm gonna use these, and they're just a little bit thinner cut green bean. They're not that French cut, like they're not sliced like that. But it's just French, smaller, you know, a little more petite green bean. And to that, I put a little bit of olive oil. And then I use, so that you'll know what it is when you see the recipe. And that recipe is already on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. So when you, oh, Barbara tried oat milk and Starbucks in her coffee last weekend. That's awesome. So when you get to the recipe on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, and it's just called Church Lady Green Beans, when you see liquid aminos and you wonder what is that, these are liquid aminos. So these are made by the Bragg Food Company. They also make the nutritional yeast that I eat. They also make apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar that's right up here. But the liquid aminos, it's an all-purpose seasoning from soy protein, and it's supposed to be a soy sauce alternative. So I use this in place of soy sauce, but this is fabulous in the green beans. I mean, fabulous in the green beans. This, if you ever had Old Baptist Church Lady, I guess the Methodist did it too. I don't know. But Old Baptist Church Lady green beans, this along with a little bit of the olive oil tastes just like it. You don't have to put any bacon or fat back in your beans. So that recipe is already on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. So the bacon somehow has already been in there for 4 minutes. So let's check it real quick. Okay, it's looking good. It is looking good. It's funny because it's starting to curl up just a little bit like actual bacon. Okay, and Loretta wants to know what it tastes like. Are you talking about the nutritional yeast? I mean, not the nutritional yeast. Are you talking about the liquid aminos? Because it just tastes like soy salt. And yes, it is not. So she wants to also know if it's high in sodium. It is not low in sodium. You are not buying this for it to be low in sodium. It has 350 milligrams of sodium. So you are not purchasing that as a low sodium alternative. Okay, so while the bacon's cooking, I want to talk about that real quick. Oh, and then what else? We still got plenty of time. What else I am making to go with my my vegan loaded mashed potatoes and my green beans that are over here that are over here cooking. What I'm making to go with those, and I can't show you tonight because it's going to marinate overnight. I am making sloppy Joe tofu. So, or manwich tofu, whatever you want to call it. So I saw a can of manwich tonight, and I was like, oh, manwich. Okay, so let me just say that the end of the shelf marketing totally works on me. It 100% totally works on me. I do it every time. I will buy something off the end rack, or I'll at least pay attention to it, or I'll at least slow down and look at it every single time. So tonight, at the end of one of the rows, don't know why. It's not like National Manwich or Sloppy Joe Week. Don't know why. Maybe there's a plethora of manwich cans after, you know, pandemic. People quit hoarding things for the pandemic. I don't know, but anyway, I ended up with a can of manwich. So I'm gonna let my I'm gonna get my tofu ready when I get home, and I'm gonna let it marinate all night so that I can make some manwich tofu tomorrow. That's what I'm going to have with my mashed potatoes. Okay, so while we're letting that finish cooking, we're going to get another sip of this because, shoo, those Bradford pears. Then I'm going to go grab my potatoes, here in just a minute. I'm going to show you first, though, what this is going to go in. So we have other chats about meal prep. This is not a meal prep chat, so I'm not going to go into great gory details about how to meal prep, when to meal prep, why to meal prep, you know, any of that stuff. But it's a great idea to have some containers like this on hand. You can get them at, I've seen some pretty decent ones at like stores like Big Lots, TJ Maxx, stores that kind of have overrun, you know, things. These are some that we have here at Casey Kitchen Center, and we have these, I think they come in a pack of 10 or 12, I don't remember. But these are great because they stack small. I'm really bad about plastic containers and lids, and I have 2 cabinets full at home of just plastic containers with lids. Half the lids are missing, so don't tell my sister because she would come and get rid of the rest of it. But these I love because they stack flat. And yeah, my favorite store is not Walmart, Loretta. You're hilarious. Not Walmart. But what I like about these divided trays, when we get done with the potatoes, I'll show you how to do this. So I'm going to put potatoes in one side, then I'm going to have green beans in the biggest side, and then my manwich tofu, after I make it tomorrow, is going to be in the last side. So let's check the bacon again real quick, and then we're going to get started on the mashed potatoes. So let's check that real quick. Okay, it's looking pretty good. It's sounding sizzly. Can you hear it? Can you hear the shh? So this is what it's looking like. So it's starting to look kind of like bacon. It's getting just a little bit crispy, so I'm going to flip these over. I'm going to flip these over, and we are going to put it back in and let it cook for just a few more minutes. And remember, since this is not meat, you want to check it frequently, because you definitely do not want it to burn. This is not meat. So I will just tell you that overcooked veggie bacon is not like overcooking bacon, okay? It's just not. Okay, before I grab that, because I want it to stay warm. So what's the great thing about these mashed potatoes? Except for the tiny bit of milk that's in this kind of bacon, and you can find vegan bacon, but except for the tiny bit of milk that's in that kind of bacon, so these are definitely at least vegetarian bacon, if not super strict vegan bacon or mashed potatoes. But you can make loaded mashed potatoes that I promise your whole family is going to eat. Your vegan friends are going to lap it up. Vegan or vegetarian friends are going to lap it up. Even your civilian friends will eat it. So I made this last November, so I made it for Thanksgiving last year. That was the first family event that we had been to in over a year. It was the first time that I had been with my brother and my sister for a major holiday. I don't know, that we didn't have a sick parent. I don't even know, 10 years maybe? It had probably been about 10 years since we had celebrated a major holiday without having somebody in a nursing home, in a hospital, in a, you know what I mean? So it was the first time that all of us were together, and we could just spend the day together. I mean, we just spent, tons of time together. But I made the vegan version of this mashed potatoes because my niece is vegan, her boyfriend is vegan, my mom was vegan, so she would have loved it if she could have been there. But I made like a double batch of it because I needed my non-vegan family members and their eventual spouses, because 2 of them are married now, but anyway, since then, but I needed them to be able to eat it too, so I made a giant batch of it. So the first thing you're going to do, oh, it thinks it's ready. Let me check. That needs just a teeny tiny bit more crisping, just a tiny bit. Okay, I got a little generous this time because I, was trying to do this live. I got a little generous with the Kerry sugar-free syrup, so it needs just a couple more minutes for that to crisp up. But again, I needed everybody in my family to be able to eat this and enjoy it. And trust me, I got an empty bowl back. I made a double batch of it, and I got an empty bowl back. So your meat-eating friends will eat this, I promise. Just don't tell them it's got veggie bacon in it, okay? Just don't tell them. They don't need to know. Okay. So what this has in it, you are going to make, now remember, if you want the meat version, so if you do want meat, like, and I eat the meat version too, you know, because remember, I'm not vegan, I just like to eat some meatless things. So if you do want the full-fledged, loaded, lowest point I can get it version, it's already on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, and it's just called World's Easiest Loaded Mashed Potatoes. So stinking easy. The meatful version has the Trader Joe's frozen potatoes in it, frozen mashed potatoes in it. Remember, they're like in coins. That's what I'm trying to say. They're like mashed potato coins, or like little coins, and you just heat them up. That, and it has, let's see, it has non-fat plain Greek yogurt, cream cheese, like fat-free cream cheese, shredded cheese, bacon, real bacon, you know, some other things in it. But that is the world's easiest loaded mashed potatoes. You can't get any easier than that unless you just go buy them. But I think the world's easiest loaded mashed potatoes, I think it's 3 points for, pretty sure it's 3 points for about a half of a cup. So that's already on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. Okay, this one is the vegan, or again, nearly vegan, thanks Morningstar Farms, but the nearly vegan mashed potatoes. So for that one, you're not going to be able to start with those coins, those frozen potato coins from Trader Joe's. If you want it to be really, really as close to vegan as you can get, or vegan. So you're going to need to make some potatoes, however you boil and make your potatoes. Skinless, I skinned mine, so I have skinned and then boiled mashed potatoes. I have about 5 cups of potatoes before I started boiling it. So it was approximately 5 cups of potatoes. It's already been boiled. So I'm going to run down the ingredients real quick because I ran out of room, so I can't really bring my saucepan with the heat over here. So I'm going to run down the list real quick. It's got about 5 cups of potatoes in it, of boiled, cooked, already ready to make into mashed potatoes. Then I used a half of a cup of oat milk. That's what I used when I blended the mashed potatoes. So when I used my mixer and blended the mashed potatoes, I used a half of a cup of oat milk. And to that, I added an 8-ounce, hold on. Okay, that's much better. That is much better. And we're going to put this, actually I'm going to let it, nope, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's going to be crisp. Okay. Nope, don't go. Okay, I'm going to put this in a bowl and let that sit for a minute so that is not excruciatingly hot when I try to break it apart. But see, kind of looks like bacon. Kind of looks like bacon. It smells a little bit like bacon, but it kind of looks like bacon. Okay, so we're going to use that here in just a few minutes. So I have 5 cups of boiled, peeled potatoes that we're going to that I mashed together, a half of a cup of oat milk, unsweetened oat milk. And the reason I've been using the oat milk, and I'm on a little bit of an oat milk kick, is it's so much thicker. I love almond milk. I love almond milk. I wouldn't drink it, but I love almond milk. I like soy milk. I like rice milk. I like coconut milk. There's, several of them that I like. The unsweetened oat milk is so much thicker. Good night, Betty Ann. It's so much thicker, and so I love that one. I still have plenty of time, right? Okay, I'll talk fast. Anyway, it has that, and I've already put into this an 8-ounce container of tofutti, and I'm sorry, I threw the container away, so I'll just have to show you what it looks like. Actually, here, you know what? Since you all have pretty much quit talking, let me look it up on my phone and show you. And I apologize, I just got carried away, but I've already put the tofutti in there because I needed it to already be warm, and I just ran out of room, so I couldn't bring that over here. So the tofutti looks like, let me show you. And it pretty much looks like cream cheese. So tofutti cream cheese. So let me show you what that container looks like. It looks like this. So it looks like that. Can you see that right there? It just says tofutti cream cheese. It says better than cream cheese. So anyway, so the tofutti cream cheese. Okay, so it has that in there. So I've done 5 cups of boiled and peeled potatoes, a half of a cup of oat milk, and an 8-ounce container of the tofutti Better than cream cheese. Okay, that's already been in there. So I'm going to bring this over here now and show you what else I'm going to put in it. Okay, so this has been sitting over here getting good and hot, actually probably a little too hot. So I'm going to pour that into something. I'm going to pour that into my pan. And you can rebake this. You can make it into like twice baked potatoes is really good. Or if you just need to reheat it, you know, reheat it and serve it later. So we're going to do, oops. We're going to get that in here. Uh-oh, I better hurry. Okay, we're going to get that in here. Then to that, we're going to add a cup of Daiya cheese shreds. So they look like that. So we're going to add while it's still good and hot. So Daiya is a great brand for melting. It melts really well, and you're going to see I'm just stirring it up here in the potatoes that are already hot. So you can see they're good and creamy. That oat milk has made them good and creamy. It doesn't make them sweet at all, but these are Daiya shreds, and the Daiya shreds are made out of filtered water, tapioca starch, coconut oil, you know, and some other things, but it is not cheese. It is a vegan, and it is vegan. It is a vegan cheese product, and my mom preferred the Daiya brand, so that's why I always stuck with it. But the Daiya brand, she preferred it because it tastes the most like real cheese. Now, would I just pick up the shreds out of the bag and eat them? Probably not. But by the time you get them in something like this, I promise you'll never know. You do not have to put any Bragg nutritional yeast in there, but I do not have it on the recipe for people who don't like, for some bizarre reason, the nutritional yeast, but I do. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of that in there and mix that up. I think my mom introduced me to adding nutritional yeast to cheese flavored things. Like she made a macaroni and cheese one time that I'm telling you, it was macaroni and cheese. It had no cheese in it. It was all Bragg nutritional yeast in there. And it was just crazy how much it tasted like that. Oh, and we only have 5 minutes left. Somehow, as usual, I ran us out of time. Then we're going to take the Morningstar Farms veggie bacon. Now, here, do you hear how crisp it sounds? So it sounds crisp. It sounds like, you know, well done actual bacon. So we're going to chop that up in there. You don't need all 4 strips. You only need a couple for this. I went ahead and made 4 just so that I would have some extra for when it's picture taking time, that I would have extras in there. And then, so look how, darn the luck. Darn the luck, had to lick my fingers. So look how good that's already looking, and I'm going to scoop some out into a bowl for you so that you can see this. So you're going to, if you were not doing picture time, like I will be tomorrow, you would just go ahead and scoop this out. Now this is going to be more than 1/2 of a cup. Remember, a serving is about 1/2 of a cup, but I just want to show this to you. This is mashed potatoes. It's mashed potatoes. And it's loaded mashed potatoes. And look how pretty that is with the chopped up bacon in it. But do not forget to add, because remember, the fancier you make it, the less people realize that it's vegetables. So you're going to add some fresh green onions, or you can do chives, you can do, you know, anything that you like, parsley in your potatoes. You can add anything like that, but you're going to add some of that to it fresh. And where is my fork? And I will try this for you. But this is the best vegan. Look how pretty that is. It's potatoes. It's mashed potatoes. And by the time you get all this in here, nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to know that that wasn't bacon. Okay. Oh, and let's see. Debbie wants to know what's the difference in points between these and regular bacon. It's not that much better. Sorry. It's just not meat. You know, in case you're wanting to watch your meat. So let me make sure and get a piece of bacon in here, and I will try these for you all real quick because I've just about run us out of time. Oh, and if you want to, you can add just a little more. of the Red Mountain rub, or even with the Red Mountain rub on the bacon, the steakhouse seasoning is still really good on this. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this a little bit. I already know it. I already know what it tastes like because I eat this all the time. Tastes just like loaded mashed potatoes. Good night, John. I'll see you when I get home. Tastes just like loaded mashed potatoes. So y'all are gonna love this. It is, pretty sure it's 3 on purple and 5 on blue and green, but Jessica will have that posted for you later on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. But it's an absolutely delicious recipe. It is meatless. You don't have to be a vegan or vegetarian to eat it. If you just want to have, you know, a meatless meal one night, it's perfect for that. But I hope you all will try it, and I hope you will check it out on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. Here in the next few days, Jessica will get that posted. If you want to make the regular version, it is already on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, and it is just called World's Easiest Mashed Potatoes. But I enjoyed another week. I super duper enjoyed the fact that the sun was out. It was just starting to go down at 8 o'clock. Love that, love that, love that. So any of you all who have influence on keeping the time the same and not going back in the fall, that would be awesome. But I want to tell you all good night. I want to highly, highly, highly encourage you, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and let that next YouTube video roll over. There's lots to watch. This is 216. So there's 215 other, there's more than 215 other videos. There's 215 other chats to watch. Lots of other videos to watch. I hope that you will watch them. I hope you will click this little button down here to subscribe, and go ahead and click that bell to be notified when we have new videos. And if you want a t-shirt or one of these really cool aprons, excuse me, go ahead and head on over to Spreadshirt. So everybody have a great week. Hopefully the Bradford pears aren't going to get us all, because you can tell it's starting to get my voice. But y'all have an awesome and amazing week. And I will share the pictures of this with the green beans and with the manwich tofu. So I'll be sharing that in the next day or two. But y'all have an amazing and great night. I want to thank you for being here, and I will see you next time.